Hi, Sophia. I still have the weird setup in the back to try and block the light. Also, ignore what's happening up here. It's not a good hair day. It's a hair washing day. And the day before you wash your hair's kind of wild. So it's not my best look, but I'm showing up for you. Anyways, so we are back in Exodus. So remember what happened yesterday. We had the whole early story of Moses, right? Moses is born into slavery in Egypt at a time when they're trying to kill all the little baby Hebrew boys. His mother tries to save him by putting him in a basket and putting him in the Nile. The princess, the daughter of the son of the king of Egypt, pulls him out of the water and raises him in the palace as a prince. And it looks like things are pretty good for Moses, right? Moses hit the lottery of life. But then he kills a man to prevent him from abusing someone else, and he has to run away. And so now he's like a shepherd, which he doesn't know how to be a shepherd. So he's like a shepherd, and he's feeling all kind of left out and disoriented and this was not where I expected my life to be. I do not know what I'm supposed to really be doing. And we ended at where he says, I'm a stranger in a foreign land. He feels very out of place. We're about to see him get called back and find out that all of the experiences that Moses had have prepared him for exactly what God wants him to do. So we are in Exodus chapter 2. So we're very much towards the beginning of the Bible. Exodus is the second book of the Bible, and we're in the second chapter. And we're going to go into chapter 3. During that long period, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God. God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. So God looked on the Israelites and was concerned about them. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people the Israelites out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who has sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Moses said to God, Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, What is his name? What then shall I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, Say to the Israelites, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name by which I am to be remembered from generation to generation. Well, so Moses has a crazy day there, right? He sees a fire, and usually a fire, especially in the desert, would burn up a bush really quickly, right? Because that bush is probably really dry in the desert. Instead, it's burning and it's burning, but it's never burning up. And then God speaks out of the bush. And he says, I'm ready to bring the suffering of these people to an end. Their cries have reached me. It's moved my heart. I'm not letting this go on any further. But Moses is scared, and I don't blame him. if he goes back to Egypt, like, is he still in trouble for killing that Egyptian guy? I don't know. Like, the old king is dead, but his son, who Moses probably knows really well, is the new king. So, and he's showing up after years and years of being gone. That must be really scary. A lot of times when we leave someplace where something bad has happened, we never want to think about it again. We never want to go back to that place. God's telling Moses, I'm sending you exactly back to the place where some of the worst things that have happened to you were. And I think it's interesting what he says about his name. When Moses says Moses is kind of trying to get out of it, right? He's like, well, what if they ask me what your name is, and what will I tell them? And we already see that God has kind of told him, he says, I'm the God of your fathers. I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are kind of the first three people in like the genealogy of the Jewish people. So it's just kind of a common way in the Bible of saying, I'm the God of this people. I knew it's like I knew your parents and your grandparents and your great grandparents, and I've been faithful. We've had a relationship for a long time. So you can trust me because they trusted me. And we go way back, is kind of what he's saying. And so Moses is like, it's not quite good enough. And so he asks for another name, and God says, I am that I am. And it's a really interesting name because it's a way of saying almost, there's nothing you have that can compare to me, Moses. I don't know any way to say to you who I am that is going to really communicate that, because nothing is like me. I am who I am. And it also means I will be who I will be. And I was who I was. There's kind of no tense there. So it's like past, present, and future all at the same time. Because time is not relative to God. Time is something that's important to us as people, but time doesn't work the same way for God. God is in the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. So that name actually means like, I am who I was, who I am, and who I will be. I don't change in that way. But it also it's why, as we go through the Bible, we see a lot of comparisons. We say God is like a father, or God is like a mighty wind, or God is like a burning fire, or God is like a lot of things. We do a lot of comparisons. We call those similes when we do a comparison. But it's much harder to say that God is something because we don't have anything to compare God to until we have Jesus. Jesus is when he says, okay, enough with the comparisons, enough with not really understanding fully who God is, or having to make imperfect comparisons. I'm going to put on human flesh. I'm going to be human, and then you're going to be able to say, this is what God is. I know exactly what God is like. He's like this very particular person, and that's going to give me a new understanding that's going to make a lot more sense. But this is happening like 2,000 years before Jesus. So Moses is just getting to know God. This is his first encounter with God. This is pretty scary. But you know what I love? He's scared to go, and God knows he's scared. And instead of being like, come on, Moses, man up. This is what I've been training you for all these years. He says, Moses, I'm going to be with you. I'm not leaving you alone. I'm not sending you out like to the wolves by yourself. I'm going with you. There's no safer place to be than with me, Moses. I'll be with you. And I love that. God is with us every place we go.